Hi, it's Dale Thomas here from Wedding Help NI, and this is episode 33 of the Wedding Help podcast. Of course, Wedding Help is that place you need to be if you're getting married. Everything weddings you can find out at www.weddinghelpni.com. As I said, it is episode 33, and my guest today is none other than Barry from the Merry Mare. How's it going, Barry? And welcome along.
Very good deal. Yeah, another sunny morning for a change.
We're in lovely County Armagh today, of course, at Basil Shields.
Stunning place.
It is. It's beautiful. It's my first time being here
like
and seeing this, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So it is. So, tell us, the Merry Mare. Barry, take us right back. What were you doing before you done that?
So I
then
suppose
lead us in.
I've worked in hospitality through bars, restaurants, hotels all my life, Dale. Now I left hospitality probably 6 or 7 years ago and moved into retail. So very similar in all fairness with regards to customers and operations and stuff like that. But then the Merry Mare, I suppose, it came as a bit of an idea. We got engaged through lockdown, me and the wonderful now wife.
Great,
we got engaged through lockdown, and obviously not much was happening on the wedding scene through lockdown, and it took a few years before we were planning the actual wedding. And about 2 years ago, we started getting into planning the wedding, and we booked a venue, the stunning Belle Isle down in Fermanagh, and you need to organise all your caterers, the bar service, everything needs to be organised outside to bring in. And what was out there wasn't really for us with the mobile bar setup. We wanted something a little bit different, and I suppose a one-stop shop really that could cater for everything with draft and products and cocktails. And so I thought, with my hospitality background and knowing the industry very well, I thought, well, I'm just going to make a horse box for our wedding.
You're going to do it for yourself. It was for your own project.
Yeah, and that was it. It was just a project. I thought, well, let's give it a whirl. Let's see what's there. It was 2 years before the wedding, so if it didn't go well, I knew I could reach out to someone.
Go back.
Yeah, absolutely. So we ended up creating the Merry Mare, and through the process of making it and talking about it and meeting other people, we started getting inquiries about bookings. People, it was never really meant to be a full-on business. So people were saying, "Oh, can you do a birthday party? Can you do?" And we were like, why not? It's a bit of a run before the wedding. So so from a bit of an idea of us wanting a mobile bar service for our wedding and thinking that we wanted something a little bit different, we ended up creating, mind you, the wife, when we brought an old grey horse box back to the front driveway, the wife was not too keen on it coming, but we've ended up, I think, with something pretty nice, pretty unique, and it is
something very different as well, because it's it's very rustic. It's different. It's out there. What sort of services can you offer with that? You can offer so many different services as well, can't you?
Absolutely. So we have the horse box, the Merry Mare, and that is what it says in the tin. It's converted. It's an old 1970s rice horse box, and we've converted it. But we've also put a big, large extension on the back of it so that it's capable of. We can turn that extension into an Aperol bar, a cocktail bar, a gin bar, whatever it may be. Tailor it to any venue.
Yeah.
And then, with regards to the setup inside, there's the draft products, there's spirits, wines, so everything really that you would expect to see in a nice hotel bar or restaurant bar, then we have it all in there. But we've also, we've expanded. We through the year and a bit, I suppose, that we've been going now properly. We've expanded quite a bit with mobile bars, with indoor setups, things like Prosecco walls, glass hire. So really any event that needs catered for. We can supply the drinks, the glasses, the indoor bar, the outdoor bar, the Prosecco walls, a whole range.
I suppose as well, the thing is the expertise in that area, because, for somebody getting married, like to be honest now, I wouldn't be a big drinker, but and I'm sure there's couples like that, but they're going to have guests at their wedding that, and you can sort of, that maybe like a drink or maybe a bit of a connoisseur whenever it comes to drink, and you'll know about that, and you'll know maybe what to offer, because everybody's not going to know what's suited to them or what's needed.
And and that comes with the knowledge of been in the industry for over 30 years. We often get guests who are very specific about what they want. So I want this type of gin, I want this type of cocktail, and whatever guests want, they can have. There's nothing is off bounds. If they say they want a cocktail menu of espresso martinis, porn star martinis, Negronis, and whiskey sours. They can have
Aye,
absolutely
aye,
no
aye.
problem at all. We've got the capacity, the knowledge, and the experience to set that up and make sure that guests have it. And you're right. Some guests are just like, oh, I don't drink. I don't even know.
No, and I
what
suppose
want.
that expertise can be good as well because you're able to advise and you're able to bring that forward because it is something that looks unique, looks brilliant, brilliant for pictures and all. And they might say, we need this,
Yeah.
but we don't know what to put on there.
Yeah,
We don't know what to
you
do.
don't.
So that's a great, I suppose, your expertise because you've been in hospitality a lifetime.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what works and what doesn't, and that sometimes can help as well.
100%. And I like to think the quality and the range that we have is certainly different from what's out there. We don't use plastic glasses, we don't use disposables, for guest experience and for the environment, we don't see it as a good thing. If you are drinking an espresso martini, you will be drinking it out of a crystal cut glass. Properly
And that makes a
made.
big difference too. So
Yeah,
it does.
100%. That experience of the nice drink in the nice glass with the nice garnish, exactly how it's
Especially for a
served.
wedding, especially for a wedding.
100%. Yeah,
It's
it's a
well,
one.
any event.
Yeah. But weddings in particular, as you said, Dale, it's for most people a once in a lifetime thing, the wedding day, guests don't want to be worrying about the glassware, the ice, we will bring it, we will make sure that it is exactly how it should be, and we should just blend seamlessly into the day.
Yeah.
And we do.
Tell us this, where did the name the Merry Mare come from?
The wife gets the credit for that, so she does.
So she's the boss. So really, we know
when
we
are they
know
not
who the boss is.
when are they ever not? But I'd be lost without her. She does a lot of the socials. We were sort of brainstorming quite a few different ideas, and Janet came up with the Merry Mare, and it was just like, yeah, that's obviously touching to the horsebox side of things, but obviously touching to the drink side of things, being a little bit merry. So
Yeah,
it was,
of course.
yeah, it was a
It's
cracking
great name. So it is a great name. So we did sort of touching packages, but take us sort of. Is there parts of the day? So say you were bringing your bringing the Merry Mare to a venue. Where would your part of the day, like, would you say like afternoon drinks reception could be a good thing, or where would you slot that in?
So and I suppose it's. And this isn't a vague answer. It really is so different for every wedding.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, we'll always get a venue walk round, first of all, a good walk round with the client, the bride, the groom, whoever it may be, and talk about the day and how they see the day going. And we can say, okay, so, it's probably a good idea if we maybe have a wee mobile bar set up here for your drinks reception. And then for the evening time, the Merry Mare can be close to where the music and the nighttime stuff is. So we get a good walk round through course of the day, and then some people want us open from 12 noon, serving all the drinks, all the cocktails, all day long up until 2 a.m. Some people, as you say, maybe want a fizz reception, whether it's champagne or Prosecco, in a certain area of the grounds, and then they want to move somewhere else for the ceremony, and then they maybe want cocktail service after. So it changes so much. So we don't really have, this is our package. We can, of course, create reception packages, cocktail packages, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But it just changes.
It's really
so much.
tailored to each couple.
Honestly,
Such.
I could honestly say
client.
we've never had the same selection of drinks at 2 weddings. Never. Guests can, couples can choose whatever they want. So we have 2 draft line set up, so they can have whatever they want. They can have Magners, they can have Heineken, Guinness, whatever they want. The cocktail side of things, we have 5 or 6 cocktails on for each event, and the bride and groom can ask whatever they want.
So
and
lots to
often
choose from. Lots to choose from.
yeah, and honestly, there's if there's sometimes a random auntie that loves a bit of Pernod, a blackcurrant, whatever it may be, it's nothing for us to bring a bottle of Pernod along with us. So it really does change.
So tell us, if the couple's getting married, say the couple's getting married at a hotel, but they want to bring the Merry Mare. They want because it looks beautiful for photos, and they want to bring the Merry Mare there for, just say, afternoon cocktails or something. Is that something that you can work with a licensed venue, or what way does that work?
Absolutely. So obviously it's down to the venue, but we've done several bookings now where we've sometimes the venue maybe doesn't have the expertise, the equipment, the staff to do sort of really nice sort of craft cocktails that are made fresh, there in front of the guests. So as long as the venue's okay with it, we can do like a little cocktail takeover for a few hours. So we could could sort of park the Merry Mare up. We can be there for 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon. We can provide lovely cocktails for those 2 or 3 hours, and then we can pack up and head away, and the guys can enjoy the venue. Or if it's a certain few hours in the night time, say for instance, where we come in the evening and we do a few hours of cocktails for a certain time of the evening, because they maybe don't, as I say, have the people or the training and stuff there to do it. So we can absolutely, as long as the venue's okay with it, then we're more than happy to work.
I think that's I think it's a great optional add-on as well, because it's such a unique thing, and it's something that people will talk about. You know, like I know if I was at a wedding and somebody says, "Oh, come on out to see the horse box that they're serving drink out here and stuff." You know, you would think, my goodness, who's done this? Yeah. What's this about? Like, it's so different, isn't it?
It is. It really is unique, and guests are like, "Oh my God, I haven't seen a setup like this," and I think they're more surprised about what you can fit inside a little old horse box.
Of course. Yeah. Can they customize like a drinks menu as well? I know you touched a bit on that, so you can work with the couples as well, I suppose, advising that and customize to suit their needs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And even not just for couples at weddings, you know, if it's sort of brand activations, if it's just to be serving a certain new whiskey or a certain new, or if it's Aperol Spritz, you know, we can literally tailor the horse box to be serving whatever people want.
And is there a minimum booking or guest number that you need, or what?
No, not at all. We were at a private house doing a birthday party there just last weekend. It was a 50th party. We've done weddings for 30 people. Although the horse box is kind of geared up to do larger events. There's no limit to where we can go. Sometimes a mobile bar option is a much better option for everybody, for the clients, for us. It's sort of, we can do cocktails, we can do draft, and we can do setups, and sometimes the mobile bar venue for indoor events or for smaller events is certainly a better option for people.
And I suppose if people's getting married now, so if you were having like a marquee at home or you were doing something like that, this is a great option as well, because you need, of course, you need a bar, and you can provide that as well, can't you? Like on a bigger scale, I suppose as well.
I think need is the right word for an Irish wedding. We definitely need the bar at it. But whether it's for the likes of the marquee as well, you know, we can set up alongside a marquee, we can set up inside a marquee, or we can set up the mobile bar inside the marquee. So we've got so many options. There's if somebody is looking at a bar setup and a drink, there's nothing we can't do.
Tell us a wee bit as well. You touched a bit there in your Prosecco walls and gin walls and stuff. Tell us a bit about that there. So what is that? Or tell us for somebody that doesn't know what that is. You know,
Prosecco wall, for example, it's a tall it's a 10-foot wall. It's got a nice grass frontage. It's got a lovely little cheers sign in it, bespoke made, and we literally, for the likes of, I suppose, a little fizz reception, we cover the wall in glasses of champagne. Generally, I always have a server there, and the server can take it off the wall and serve it to the guests as they come.
Brilliant.
So it's a lovely little focal point, I think, and a nice talking point. And what it creates too, as well, is it's a nice meeting point. So if you need to get guests together in one area, and it's always good to bribe them with a wee glass of fizz.
Of course.
If you need to get them together in one area, it's a lovely little focal point for people to mingle around.
So tell us, in terms of logistics and coverage, where do you cover? You're happy to travel?
Absolutely.
As such?
Deal, yeah. The horse box is on wheels, and the mobile bars can be packed up and go anywhere. We've been serving as far west as Port New Harbour. We're booked down to Cork. We've been up to the north coast. There's literally nowhere's out of bounds.
So you're happy enough to travel anywhere. So
absolutely.
It's really not an issue then.
No. North, south, east or west is not an issue.
So have you had any mishaps? Have you ever had to get really creative whenever you've went to a venue or went to a location with the Merry Mare? Is it ever?
Yeah, well, I think probably one of the trickiest ones we had a wedding down in Newry, and when we can, we'll always set up the day before for exactly this reason.
Yeah.
So we're setting up the day before. We like to get our services checked, get the refrigeration checked, make sure everything's fine. We turn the bottle cooler on, so everything that would chill the bottles of beer, the bottles of cider, the wine, the bottle cooler decided not to work.
Oh dear, right, not so good.
No, and this was about 3:00 on a Friday, and the wedding, it was an all-day wedding, so it was 12:00 on the Saturday. We needed to be ready. Now, we've lots of extra equipment and kit. The problem is that was up in the storage unit, which is close to the airport, and we were in Uri at 3 o'clock. And the other second problem is because it was the fridge. The fridge is kind of the first thing that was built into the horse box, and everything was built around it. So we had a spare fridge, thankfully. The trouble of dismantling half of the back bar, of trying to lift quite a large fridge out past the draft beer unit and take it out to put a new one in was quite a stressful evening, I should say.
It kept you busy then, it kept you busy.
Thankfully, the bride and groom knew nothing about it until I told them on Monday, and it was like, if you kind of only knew the panic that I was in at about 8 o'clock.
to get ready for your wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, there's been... Listen, it's a horse box, it's a mobile unit, but as I said, us setting up the day before is the reason exactly why we want to do it all the time, so that we can sort of preempt those things and get them fixed.
What advice would you have to couples when thinking about drinks for their big day? Would you have any advice on that?
I think just check out your suppliers. You know, we've quite often had a couple of very late phone calls getting close to weddings, asking people asking us to sort of help out because the suppliers failed through. So I would just spend a bit of time looking at reviews, checking out anything on their socials, checking out their website if they have one. It's a really, really important day. We do love a drink at a wedding, and it's a very big part of the day.
Of course.
You don't want that to go wrong. So spending an extra hour just making sure that it's your suppliers are credible, that everything that you want, I suppose, is there in front of you. You know, that there's a really good social media presence, and then taking it from there and getting a feel. I think the feel is the most important thing. Knowing that you can put your trust in X person to look after those things for the day.
What are the trends in drink? I know gin. Is gin still as massive as what it was?
I wouldn't say it's still probably, vodka would be the best selling spirit. Gin's most definitely still the second best, and the bespoke gins, whether it's Boatyard from Fermanagh or Shortcross, they're still very popular. I think the big thing now is cocktails. Cocktails. Yeah. So it's
that's a new trend then, as such.
I think, years ago it might have been alcohol pops and they're gone, and then maybe moved into sort of gins have moved along, and then maybe flavoured cider stuff. But without a shadow of a doubt, cocktails or we couldn't go somewhere now if we didn't order a nice extensive range of craft cocktails. And as I mentioned before, the bride, the groom, the clients, they can choose. We don't say you can only have A, B, C, or D. And our cocktails, as I said, you're drinking a martini out of a crystal cup martini glass. Your pornstar martini has its passion fruit on its shot. So they're all made fresh. They're all made in front of customers, so people know exactly what they are. But cocktails is definitely the trend now.
Perfect. What do people often overlook when planning a bar at a wedding? Is there anything that people sometimes overlook?
I suppose it's the boring stuff and the stuff that they shouldn't need to worry about. The likes of access, the likes of utilities for us, the likes of positioning, those kind of boring things. There's a lot maybe that goes into making sure the service is perfect on the day, and it's my job to make sure that we have what we need on site to make sure that happens. So I'd say the quite boring stuff that everybody, and like, can you get a horse box in there? Okay, yeah, it's fine, and we get there and it's maybe not so fine, but we make it work.
Get
in there, and but that's our job, and that's why we'll always do a venue visit before we go to a wedding. I personally will always walk around the venue, talk the day through with the clients,
make sure it works,
and maybe suggest some things that for the guest experience through the whole course of the day, it might be better if we do this, or it might be better if we do that.
Tell us, where can people find you in your socials, your websites? Where can it all be found?
I can so all of our socials, the Merry Mare Mobile Bars, and as I say, I can thank the wife for this. She does a lot of the social side of things. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok now. For some reason, going viral every time we post on TikTok. It's like 30,000 views every single time.
Brilliant, so
I know, and I don't know why. There's something with the algorithm, but the wife can look after it. We've just done a new website, so the merrymaremobilebars.com, and that's we're very happy. We've rebuilt it from scratch, and all singing and all dancing. So any information, reach out on socials if you have a message. it's me personally that answers everything, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's an email, whether it's a message through Facebook.
How have you found Wedding Help NI for your business? Have you found it good?
Yeah, really good. So I suppose starting off, I know hospitality, I know it inside out, I know what guests want, and I know not how to keep them happy, but I know how to provide a service that they want.
Yeah,
whether that's a very
you know, I suppose your business, but I think weddings is just like
just
a boom,
different.
isn't that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, completely. So many things are similar. Organising and running large scale events, of course, they're similar, but this is a very, very special day in people's lives. And for me, I was transitioning from one side of community, I suppose, with bars, restaurants, hotels, into maybe another side of event organising, hospitality, very similar but different. And Wedding Help NI's just completely opened that door. The group alone, when you join as a suppliers group, there's just hundreds and hundreds of suppliers that are there for advice, that are constantly talking about you, that are constantly talking to other guests to recommend you strike up relationships with caterers, with event organisers, and
you've got that background, you've got that that support in a way as well.
Yeah, support's a very good way of putting it. It's like, oh, guys, I've came across this problem. There's the Wedding Help NI, obviously the public group, but then there's the suppliers group. So it's I've came across this problem. Has anybody got any recommendations? And 9 times out of 10, somebody else will already have had your problem and fixed it. Yeah. So it's just leaning on good advice.
There you go. So that has been episode 33, and that is Barry from the Merry Mare. Thank you so much, Barry.
Cheers. Thanks, Dale.